Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Maston, that Zimtech guy. So in this video, I want to show you how to get started with Adobe Premiere Pro CC. But before we do that, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And if you do eventually end up liking the video, please hit that like button. Now, this tutorial is intended for absolute beginners, those that are starting out in Premiere Pro, and I hope I'll be able to get you started in the shortest possible time. So let's get into it. The first thing, I'm assuming that you've already downloaded a copy of Adobe Premiere. So let's just click it and launch. So whilst it's loading, let me just explain what this program is all about. Adobe Premiere Pro CC is a non-linear editing software which you can use basically to join your videos or take out certain things from your videos. You can edit photos, videos, music, all that sort of media. So without wasting time, let's get into it. Now, this is the first page that you see when you are presented with Adobe Premiere Pro. This is the welcome page. So right from the top, as you can see here, it says new project. This is the button that you click if you want to create a new project. Open project. Assuming that you've worked on previous projects before, this is the button you click. And right here is a list of my recent projects that I was working on. But today we want to create a new project. So let's just click where it says new project. If you do that, it will take you to the new project window. At this stage, basically, it just needs you to give a title. I'm not going to explain everything else that's happening here, but for the sake of you as a beginner, I don't want to confuse. I just want you this tutorial to be straightforward. So let's give this a name. Let's call it lesson 1 Premiere. Okay, lesson 1 Premiere, and just click OK. Right, now once you do that, it takes you to this page here. And I know if you're starting out, this seems a bit confusing, but we'll get into everything. So the first thing that I want you to learn is how to import footage. Because if we import footage, it will be easier for me to explain the rest of the interface. So to import footage, right here, where it's highlighted by blue, this is called the project window. So there are two ways to import footage. It's either you double click in an empty space and locate your file, or you can go to File and click Import. Now I want to import these two folders here, music and footage. These are the ones that I'm going to use. Let me just take this footage and drag it here. Once I do that, I have created a new sequence. I downloaded this footage from Pexels, by the way, so I'll leave a link in the description. So now that we've dragged the footage here, it has created a timeline. What it has essentially done is that it's created a timeline with the video settings. So to see if what sort of settings we're dealing with, let's go to the top and click where it says sequence and click sequence settings. So just by that, we can establish that the video is 1920 by 1080. And it's 29.97 frames per second. Let's just click OK. All right, so just by scrubbing this video, you can already see a preview of what's happening in the video. And by the way, if I double click this footage, it appears in this window here. This is called the source monitor. It allows me to play the footage here before I drag it to the timeline. For instance, by pressing the space bar, this is how you place stuff on the timeline. Just simply press the space bar. Already you can see there's the footage. Now, if I want to take, let's say, a certain portion from this point, whilst it's in the source monitor, I press I, then let's say this is the portion that I want. I just want this portion. So I press O. That means I've set in and out markers. So when I click the full stop or drag the footage here, only that portion is selected. All right, so now let me just drag the footage. As you can see already, the cursor has changed into a hand. Let me just drag it to the timeline. All right, now I have 2 videos on the timeline. Now with the 3rd video, again, let me just drag it to the timeline. And as you can see, there's every time I'm dragging the video to the timeline, it's snapping close. It's because on the timeline, I've enabled this snap in timeline, which basically magnetizes everything on the timeline so that you don't leave gaps. So just make sure that this is turned on. All right, now that we've got our footage on the timeline, what we want to do now is go through the tools. Essentially, you see this layer here, which I'm hovering over. This is the selection tool. The most common tools that you'll be using is the selection tool and the razor tool. And those are the tools that we're going to work with today. No, plus the type tool. We'll work on that later on. So, like I said, on the timeline, if you want to play footage and see what's happening, you just simply press the space bar. To stop, just simply press it again. So let's say I want to cut footage, because this part, let's say it's a bit long and I want to cut it to half the size. Let me just first drag the playhead, this blue thing that I'm dragging here, it's called the playhead. Let's say up to this point, this is where I want to cut. So to do that, I can go under the tools here and click on the razor tool and come and just cut. And let me go and click the selection tool again and select this video, press delete. I want to delete it. Now, let me just connect these other 2 videos together. As you can see, we're already making progress, by the way. We have already started editing. There's the video playing. Let me see the 3rd part again. Right. And let's say up to this point, I want to cut off again. But like I said, go and click on the razor tool or press C on your keyboard to bring up the razor tool. Click and then press V, which is the selection tool. Click on the part that you don't want on the timeline. I'm just giving you this as an example so that when you're working, you know how to cut footage and you know how to move things around. For instance, let's say this video in the middle here, I don't want it in the middle. I can just click on it, drag it, let's say to the last point there. Let me join it to there. Essentially as well, this is a pro tip. If you don't want to be dragging things around, whenever you see an empty space like this, just right click on it and click ripple delete. That will bring everything closer together. All right, so that's how you move things around on the timeline. Now the next thing I want to do, I want to add music. So let me just go back to the project window. Remember, I brought 2 folders. There was one called footage and the one called music. Right, there's the piece of music that I want, and let me just drag it to the timeline. Go back to the beginning of the timeline and play it back. All right, that's the music playing. But then if you can see, the music track is actually longer than the video tracks. I just want to make sure when the video ends here, this is where I cut off the music as well. So I've just dragged the playhead to the end of the video here. And let me just click C or click on the razor tool and come and click here. Use the V or the selection tool to click the rest and delete it. Right. Now that we've done that, we can also see if we can zoom into our footage. There are 2 ways to do it. It's either you click and hold this bar here at the bottom here. If you want to zoom out, you can drag it to the right. If you want to zoom in, you can drag it to the left. All right, so there's the footage that we're working with. You can also expand the video tracks. Let's say you want to see more of what's happening. You can just click on this and drag on the tracks here. As you can see, the cursor is changed to this, so you can just click and drag. That's how you make sure that you enlarge. So these tracks here where it says video 1, video 2, basically these were where our videos are. So let's say you have a video on video 1 and you add another one on video 2 and it's overlapping the video that's on video 1, that means you only be able to see the video that's on top. So when it comes to editing, that means in certain areas you might put videos on certain tracks, so that that's how a movie is built essentially. So the number of tracks just depends on your project. You can add as many as you want, as many as are possible for your project. So to add another track here, this is just a place where you can add more files, maybe images or videos. You just right click and click add track. So as you can see on the top already, another track has been added. We now have V4, that's a video 4 track. But at the bottom here, we still have 3 tracks for the audio. So if you want to add again at the bottom here, right click, just click add tracks here. You can just, if you want to add more than one, you just change the figure there. Just click OK. As you can see now, we have 4 tracks for the audio. Now that we have our music on the timeline, and let's just bring the playhead to the back and press the space bar. Our music starts playing. Right, at this stage, let me introduce you to how you can lower volume on the audio track. There are 2 ways you can do it, and when you come here, make sure that these are not blue, and you can lower your volume from here. So you can drag to the left or add volume by dragging to the right. So let me just lower the volume a bit and go back to the beginning of the footage and play again. Okay. Yeah, so the music is playing on the background, in the background. Great. Now what I need to do is introduce you to what's called transitions. So the most basic transition that you have on Premiere Pro is basically the cut. This is this transition that happens here. From one video, it just cuts to the other video, as the name suggests. But let's say you want to add more style to it. You can come here where it says project and click here and locate the tab where it says effects. Now under effects, you can see already there are presets. There's Lumetri presets, audio key effects, audio transitions, video effects, video transition. And already we're going to use video transition. Now there are many video transitions you can choose from. I'm going to go under dissolve and use the most common transitions that you can see in Adobe Premiere Pro. So I'll just click it and drag it to between the videos. Okay, I've added one transition. So let me just zoom in so that you can see already what's going on. Okay, so I've zoomed in. This is the essentially this is the transition right here. When you click on it and go to effect controls, you can see already it's telling us the duration. So you can drag. If you come to the transition here, as you can see, the mouse cursor has changed. So you can drag this to make it short, or you can drag it again to make the transition longer. You can do this with most video transitions in the effects panel there. So let me just finish editing. Let's say here I've added a dissolve. Maybe next I want to add maybe a page peel. Let me just drag to between the 2 clips. As you can see, like in this example here, it is actually between the 2 clips. So like once again, like I said, the mouse cursor changes. You can actually make the transition longer or short. So let's just play it back and see what sort of effect that we've created here. Right, let's just play back the footage. Particularly I'm interested with the transition. Let me just drag the playhead close to the transitions. As you can see, it's actually fading in to the next video. Let's see the transition that we've added, the page peel one. You see? So it's an effect of a page peeling. This is how you work with transitions. The next thing that we need to look at again is video effects. Here there are different kind of effects for color correcting, image control, keying, noise and grain. You know, you can actually do a lot of things. Let's just see if we can For example, there's this footage that's highlighted here. So let me see if I can use some ones for color correction. All right. All right, there's this one called tint. Let me just click on it and drag it to this video here. Already you can see the video is changed into black and white. That means there's a tint effect going on. Let's say if I come and use this eyedropper, let me just click eyedropper 2. You can see I can tint it to blue. I can okay, let me see, I can even tint it to yellow. Make sure click so the video becomes yellow. This is just for example purposes, or the things that you can do with Adobe Premiere. Now I want to go back here under effects controls. This is how you delete an effect if you don't want it. Let's say you edit something that you don't like. I'm just going to click where it says tint and press delete. As you can see, the video is returned back to normal. Now the next thing that we want to do is to add text. So there are two ways you can add text in Adobe Premiere Pro. You can come here where it's written type 2, or just press T on your keyboard and just click on it and go to the video and okay, go to the video and click. Now I want to type out, let's say, holiday. Now to change the font, we want to come just make sure that there's what's called the essential graphics panel. I don't see it here, but if you don't see anything or a certain window, you can go to the top where it says window here and locate the sort of tools that you want to use. Like in this case, I want essential graphics. Let me just click on it. Okay. So essential graphics is loading. It's loaded. All right. So already the panel is loaded. It comes already with templates that you can use if you are lazy maybe to type from scratch or come up with the certain effects. You can just use the pre-made templates, and I would suggest, since you're starting out, you can use these templates. And how you can do that, you can just click on a template. Let's say this one here, I say it's your title. Click on it, drag it to your video, and let's just play it. So it will probably look something like this. These are ready-made templates. I would advise you to actually use them since you're starting out. But this is the when we press the T button, this is the font that we typed. It says holiday, so I'm going to click on it, Control A just to highlight everything. Go to the essential graphics window here where it's highlighted in blue, and I want to change this font. Let me look for maybe Papyrus. Okay, and if I want to increase the font already here, let me just click here. If I want to align the font, I can come where it says align and transform here, click that, it's on the dead center. And if I want to change the color of the text, I can just click here where it says fill, and let me make this maybe blah 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 blah. Let me make it maybe okay, maybe purple. I'm not sure. No, I'm not liking it. Let me just leave it as white. Click on it, make it white. It says holiday. All right, so let me just drag the playhead a bit back. Now already you can see that our text is just here. Let me just play back. So there's our text where it says holiday, but I want to make sure that the whole video is covered with the text written holiday. So let me just go to the edge of the layer with the text here, click on it and drag. Now if I go back to the beginning, the whole video, it says holiday. So that's how you basically add text in Adobe Premiere Pro. Now we almost getting to the end. Now what I want to do, maybe I want to make sure that I change colors. I change the colors of the videos. Maybe I want to add a bit of saturation and do all those sort of things. So just under window, make sure that lumetri color here is selected. So this is this tab here. Now if you just want to add, let's say, saturation, things like that, you go here where it says basic correction, and you can change exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites, blacks, saturation. Now in this instance, this video, let me just make sure that it's highlighted. Let me say I want to add a bit of contrast. I just click and drag here, and already you can see this contrast, a lot of contrast going on here. Maybe I want to make the whites, the blacks, blacker. I just click and drag. And I want to add a bit of saturation. I can just click or drag, or come here. Maybe I want it to be 120%. Just click on it and press enter. All right. Now let me drag the playhead to the next video. With this one, I want to add a LUT, a lookup table. This is just looks that are pre-made, that are already there. You can download LUTs even from the internet, but that's a story for another day. Let's just work with the LUTs that are already here. So this is basically an easy way of just adding a certain look to your video. I've highlighted the footage again. Always remember to do that. And let me just browse through here where it says under creative, lumetri creative. Like this one, I kind of like it. I think it makes everything a bit contrasty. So if I like it, I'll just click on it. Already you can see that the video footage changed. If I just play it back, you can see that there's more contrast. And let's go to the last video. With this one, it's looking a bit washed out. Let's look for another LUT again. All right, let's try this one. This one written Fuji 500D. Let's just click on it. Yeah, already the image is more contrasty. Okay, so we've added text, we've added transitions, we've added music, we've reduced the volume of the music, and now at this stage maybe you've been playing around with it and you are very satisfied with your edit. Now the next thing that we want to do is to be able to export the footage. So how you do that, just come and make sure that the timeline area here is selected, and let's go out to File and press Export Media. Once you do that, it will show you this export settings page. The settings from the video are here already. You can see that you're working with the video that's in H.264 format. And let's say you want to publish this video to YouTube. So you can click here and go down and search the right preset that you want. And once you're satisfied with everything, you can actually, where it says output name, you can give your video a name. Let me just call it lesson 1 and click save. Now to export the video, I simply need to click where it says export. And once you do that, depending on the length of your project, you start seeing the video. It will start encoding. So the video is encoding. Basically, that means all the files that you're editing, if you add images, all those things, they're being compiled into one file, your video. So this is the final result of our project. And if you're following along at this stage, you should have an appreciation of how you edit in Adobe Premiere Pro CC. If I left out anything, please let me know in the comment section below. This is Marston, the Zim Tech Guy. See you in the next video.